What up, everybody? Thank you for joining me. I am excited to announce my next guest with the Elite and Exceptional podcast. It's my big bro, Cedric Ceballos, 1992 slam dunk champion. He was an all-star, led the Lakers in scoring, led the NBA in field goal percentage. None other, the man, the myth, the legend, Mr. Cedric Ceballos. What up, man?
I don't know about the legend, but and me being a myth, that's classic right there. But I take it though. Appreciate you. What's up, Big Steve?
Hey, I mean, you can't win a slam dunk championship and not be a legend. I mean, just being in the whole competition would be legend status, but you won.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Yeah, for a kid who watched almost every dunk contest. Yeah, okay, I'll allow you to put that legendary status on me because I was in the dunk contest because it was exciting. Even today, years, it's got to be 25 plus years later, people still asking about it. People still, remember me from it. And it kind of put my name on the map. That kind of, when you hear the word last name Ceballos, that's what they kind of adjusted to that, and also the Lakers.
So, with being a slam dunk champ, like, what does that get you? Do they have, something at every All-Star celebration, like a separate slam dunk champ reception, and you just walk up like, hey, Ced Ceballos, blindfold, 92, and they're like, oh, Mr. Ceballos, come on in. What do you get with that?
Well, it's a very elite club. Not too many of us are in it. A little respect for my fellow alumni and even the youngsters that are getting in and doing it now. When they see me at the games and a little salute there and just say, all right, I see you back in the day. Some of the kids that's getting it now probably weren't even born when I won it, but it's still at the same time. It's still a little elite club right there. And, just bragging rights, some of the things that we all, as kids growing up in high school, college, and even the pros, you know what I'm saying? Everybody's been in the dunk contest. If you can dunk the ball, you've been in the dunk contest, whether it's just you goofing around at the park or on the high stage, like the NBA. You've been in the dunk contest, and being able to say that at that moment, I was the best in the world is unbelievable.
And you were in the dunk contest when it was the dunk contest. I mean, that was when it was marquee. That's when the Dominiques and the Jordans had participated, and it wasn't like, oh, I'm good. I want to rest my legs. I mean, that's when it was. Now, no disrespect to the young fellas out there right now, but when you won it, I mean, that was must see TV.
Yeah, and you had to be there too because I obviously think now if I would have won it now, I would have been obviously a bigger household name, and a lot of people would know me because of social media, internet, and the way they replay things on NBA TV and all the other sports channels and stuff. But yeah, like you said, must see TV. You had to be there to watch it because you got little glimpses of it on the replay. Maybe that Sunday or maybe that Monday. But once games started back up Wednesday, Thursday. They kind of forgot about it if you didn't have it on videotape or they went they didn't go back to the classics back then. They just kind of played the live version of it. But today you got the way you vote through social media, the way you vote through the internet, and even being there live. You win a dunk contest now. I got a sneaker deal. Already had a sneaker deal out of it already before I won it, but you get all kind of endorsements and stuff now, just because there's so many different avenues that you can touch as a celebrity or an athlete.
Right. So you had the blindfold. Was that just a spur of the moment thing? Did you have that planned? Where did that come from?
Yeah, it goes back to actually college. Myself and a bunch of other college all-stars were invited to Orlando for the Orlando Classic. I don't know if you remember that or you participated in it. It went from Orlando and it switched to Phoenix for a little bit, so it might have been in Phoenix for you. But for us, Orlando Classic, we had the dunk contest there, and Me and D Brown went head to head. And every dunk that you saw D Brown do in the dunk contest, in the NBA dunk contest, I beat him doing in the college dunk contest. The dab dunk,
Okay.
pumping up the shoes, that whole nine. But he was drafted high. I'm drafted late second round. Like if I got drafted when they went to a commercial and it was like while we were away, Cedric Ceballos was drafted to the Sun. I was that type of draft person. So he went to a Boston Celtics that was without Larry Bird, and they were terrible. So he got to play. I went to a Phoenix Suns team that was loaded with small forwards and veterans. I didn't get to play. So NBA put him in because he was getting the minutes, and plus he was in Boston, man. You can't, that's a pretty huge market. So he used everything. He took everything I had. He pumped up the shoes. He did the dab dunk.
Wait. So he bit your rhymes. That was your stuff that he did.
All my verses.
Oh my goodness.
Verses. So the next year, I'm playing a little bit more. They invited me in, so I'm like, and this is the year '92 where Magic announces retirement because of the HIV virus. So we're playing the Lakers in LA, and Magic is goofing around. I'm like I said, I'm a 2-year rookie, so I got to get there early and work out. And Magic is working out, and Magic's like, yo, baby, I see you in the dunk contest. D Brown came with the eye, and you got to come on all the way blind to go ahead and do it. So I just was, I said, okay, I got you. I didn't tell him. I was like, okay, I got you. So I went back to Phoenix after that game, and I got with the Phoenix Suns gorilla, and we conjured up this thing kind of like a gag. You know what I'm saying? Because when you look at the lineup, and Steve, Larry Johnson, Grandmama, Sean Kemp had one. He got so-called robbed a couple times. It's in Orlando. Nick Anderson. It's just my name is at the bottom. Stacey Augman. UNLV high draft pick. So I'm like, okay, I've never been in a dunk contest, so I don't know if it's rigged or not, or they want certain people to win. So I don't know. So I'm thinking, how do I get my name out there? Even if I lose. So I had some nice dunks, but we worked on this gag where I would hit the backboard and miss and fall and almost hurt myself. I even talked to the NBA about it too. They was all for it. And the mascots would run in and with the stretcher and put the stretcher down, pick up the ball, take the ball out, and leave me there. It's gonna be this big funny thing. But I kept advancing and kept advancing. Then it was me and Larry Jones in the finals. And I'm like, okay, I got enough dunks in my pocket to win this thing. So I had already won it before I did that. But if you guys go back and Google it or whatever and look at the tape, when I made it, I was surprised because I barely made that. I tried to make it, but I barely made it. Like maybe 2.5 times over 2 months, I made it. And then when it went in, I grabbed the backboard or the stand where the basket is in, and I'm like, oh. And I look over and I see the gorilla and the mascots getting ready to come, and I just go, all right, party time, I made it. And history is made from there.
I mean, you're killing me with the Magic impersonation. That might be one of the best Magic impersonations I've ever heard.
Baby. I got Magic down, baby. When I just get the ball, it's all good, baby. It's Magic, baby. It's Magic time.
So you got a chance to. So you didn't get a chance to play with Magic.
Yeah. I played with Magic when he came back with the Lakers. He came back out of retirement. Yeah.
So was he your point guard when you led the league and when you led the Lakers in scoring?
He was the point forward. Nick Van Exel was our point guard.
Oh,
All-star.
Nick at Night. Okay.
Yeah, Nick was the sick one. And he came back for the second. Magic came back for the second half of the season. So, great teammate, great. Obviously one of the best players ever played this game. But I think our team at that time we had a real good chance of winning it that year, but we were just too young, and we all grew up watching Magic take over games. So anytime we had a problem, we always like, here, Magic, go be Magic.
Right.
But it wasn't the same. It wasn't the same Magic, and we forget that. the reason Magic was so great, I mean, he had Kareem, he had James Worthy, Byron Scott. I mean, he had all these great players, and they helped him be so great too by moving, cutting, being in the right position, playing defense. You know, but as a kid, you thinking, man, Magic can save the day. Just give it to Magic. He'll go around everybody and do everything. You know, and that's a reason that we, you know, just a learning lesson that sometimes when you know, you watching superstars perform, it goes along with a great cast to get them there, and gotta, you gotta do your part. And a lot of us youngsters, you know, who idolize Magic, when we played with him, we were just in, big eye going, man, that's Magic, and he'll throw a no look pass, and you got to catch the ball. You can't just watch. I mean, it just so. I mean, you play with Carl and Stock, and just players at that type of level is just unbelievable. Speaking of Karl Malone, puffing on one of his cigars right now. So big
Oh,
shouts out
nice,
to Karl Malone. You understand, Bill
nice.
Mailman. Mm-hmm.
So when you were playing with Magic, when he got back to the NBA and unretired, I'm sure I know the fanfare was ridiculous, and he had just everybody was there. What was it like dealing with that? Because I mean, that was almost like being with the Beatles, or similar to what players on the Bulls had to go through day in and day out.
Yeah, I got a little experience of it when I was in Phoenix with Sir Charles Barkley. So I kind of got a little bit of it, on being that way. But Laker crowd, and you know this, our first quarter and middle of our second quarter, the place at the Fabulous Forum was empty. Not really empty, but it wasn't really as loud as it was in the third and the fourth quarters, and because it's Hollywood and everybody want to make an interest, everybody want to do this. No big deal. I get to the game when I get to the game. But when we got Magic back, you best believe shooting around, warming up, the place was almost packed, sold out. I mean, obviously our games were sold out. It's the Lakers, but just showing up early, and as soon as we run out the tunnel, you looking around going, "Whoa, this is bananas!" Like, and all the celebrities, they were there before. The up and coming, and the historical ones were there. But you get the up and comings, but then you got all kind of new celebrities coming back because of Magic, and just the way, he performs, and the show. I mean, Showtime at the fullest. So it was unbelievable. And then on the road, just the way people act and the way people carry themselves around him, being out with him at a restaurant, and and I love the fact that the way he handles it so well, with smiles, with jokes, with loves, with hugs, and you just Magic's one of the greatest, not only on the court but off too.
So I'm assuming you were a Laker fan growing up.
Yeah, I'm a Cali kid, so I
Yeah.
grew up watching. Yeah, I grew up watching the Lakers. It's ironic because my mom couldn't stand the Lakers. She, oh my gosh, she could, and the rest of the family was Laker fans. Everybody was Laker fans, but my mom. My mom did not like the Lakers. She was a Moses Malone fan. She was
Fofo.
yeah. She was a Davis fan when he was in Phoenix. Walter Davis, Sweetness. She was a fan of his. So I don't know why she wasn't. I got to ask her that one day why she wasn't a Laker fan. But obviously when her baby played, she was cheering for the Lakers.
So did that make it tougher for you playing for the Lakers when you were there because you were just growing up watching them, idolizing the players, and now here you are, donning that, famous gold and look, mom, I'm here, I made it. Did that make it more difficult?
Not on the court, not on the court at all. Off the court, yeah. I mean, the places I usually go, it's a bit of a ruckus going on when I'm at these normal places, and I was a hood kid, so I like being in the hood too. So going back to the hood, and it was somewhat, like, man, what you doing over there? Like, I can't help. This is where I grew up, and so. But the hard part about it is, just walk around malls and stuff like that. And that's not because of me. It's just the mystique of what Jerry West, Will Chamberlain, Kareem, Magic, the previous Lakers before has set the precedent. And being the guy with the crown on his head at the time, as the big dog Laker, it just kind of you fit into the mode, and the fans kind of put you into that mode. And it just it's crazy. The Spanish community, unbelievable Laker fans. All over California, and then this is the only team, and I don't know if you guys experienced this too, big fella, but You go on the road, and there's only one place when we ran out the tunnel that we did not get a roaring crowd, and that was Boston.
Really?
We ran out the tunnel in Boston. It was booze. Everywhere else, Phoenix, Sacramento, New York, everywhere else, you got a roar from the crowd when we ran out the tunnel, which was, that means Laker fans are just when you're dealing with teams like Los Angeles, when you're dealing with teams like New York Yankees, Dallas Cowboys, the fan is just everywhere, no matter where you go.
Yeah, we got booed everywhere, so I'm just
Yeah.
gonna throw that out there.
Yeah,
Jazz.
it's all right. It's all right.
Hey, it's
I mean, sometimes in Utah, I heard y'all get booed, but that's, it is what
not when I was there. So I don't know about that. Not when I was there. So I want to go back before you were Mr. Ced Ceballos, slam dunk champion. When you were in college, when you were in high school, when was it that you figured out, like, man, I'm kind of good at this game. I might be able to take this somewhere.
It wasn't to my senior year in college at Cal State Fullerton. Late in the senior year, we played against Santa Barbara. Cal State Fullerton versus Santa Barbara in Titan Gym, in our gym. And Jerry West and Mitch Kupchak and Elgin Baylor were at the game. And they put this special desk up for them, too, at the end zone of the baseline. And I was like, what are them cats doing here? Like, who are they here to see? Because I'm looking at Santa Barbara's roster, like, okay, it was a guy named Eric MacArthur, and we were battling for the rebounding championship of the NCAA, Division I. He was 1 and 2. We would flip flop. He'd get 13, 14 rebounds. I get 20, and I'll be ahead, and back and forth we would go. So I was like, okay, Eric MacArthur's kind of, he's a rebounding beast, but other than that, he's averaging single digits in scoring. He's not really. I'm like, who is he? And a gentleman named Keith Starr. And I didn't know Keith Starr at the time played in the NBA. I just thought he was our assistant coach. I didn't really do my homework on it. He came from Las Vegas. He was with Vegas. You probably know Keith Starr. And he played Chicago Bulls and went to Pittsburgh, University of Pittsburgh. And that my senior year, he was our assistant coach. He just got on, and he was grooming me. He was grooming me and telling me, hey, man, you got to do this, you do this, that, and the other. And when I came to the bench when we were warming up, and I was like, man, what are they doing here? And he just grabbed me to be blunt, like, what the is wrong with you? Like, wake up, young man. They here to see you, and get your together, because this might be an opportunity to change your whole life. And I just sat on the bench for like about 3 minutes during warmups, like, what? Like, are you serious? Like, it's a possibility that this might happen. And I think after that, I had about 8 more games left in the season. That's when I really turned it on. Like, all right, let me try to do this.
So hold up. You had Jerry West, Elgin Baylor, and who else at your game?
Mitch Kupchak.
Man, you had the logo and Elgin Baylor at your game. Right there. I mean, that right there at a high school game, your game to watch you.
No, not high school.
I mean college. Sorry, college at Cal State Fullerton. But still, wow.
But you got to remember, I wasn't an All-American. I wasn't highly recruited in high school. I played 1 year varsity, and that 1 year I played, I barely played. I didn't get to play. So I'm sitting on the bench. We were a pretty good team, but I got to play maybe 4 minutes. Maybe 4 minutes, maybe 8 minutes. That was my my quota. It was in between there, depending on how the game was going. But then somebody got hurt, and the last 5 games of the season, from the last game of the season, we played our rival Linwood, and it was at a pep rally that our Ronnie Coleman got hurt. USC, he got hurt, and I got to play. I got to start, and I averaged about 17 rebounds, about 20 plus points, and we lost to Stacey Alderman and Pasadena Muir in the championship. I still didn't get recruited, so I ended up having to go to junior college, and then I became an All-American. But I didn't, being in the pros was not in my mind. I mean, I grew up with Chris Mills. He was an All-American from day one. So you figured, Chris will be the one that will be going to the league. Who else is it? Sean Higgins, unbelievable player too. All of them played on the same team at Fairfax. But I didn't think, I just didn't think that was a possibility it was going to be me. So, I just wanted to make sure I played in college. That was my big thing. Get a free education. And after I left junior college, I wanted to play my last 2 years because I got recruited by UCLA, LSU, Vegas. But obviously running Rebels had unbelievable talent in Vegas. UCLA too, a lot of pros. And then LSU was going to recruit Shaq, and I was going, that whole thing. Chris Jackson was there, Stanley Roberts, and they needed somebody to fill that in, and also Arizona. But and at the time, Sean Elliott was there, so I was like, I don't. It might be a possibility that I play, and it might not be. It might go back to when I was in high school that I played 4 to 8 minutes. But so I went to Cal State Fullerton, knowing that I was going to play the whole game unless I found out.
Looking back on that decision, knowing, your competitive nature and how you've risen to the occasion throughout your whole career, do you kind of look back at it like, that might have been, maybe that would have elevated my game a little bit more going there? Or you're like, you needed that kind of space at Cal State Fullerton to get your confidence and to blossom and to become, the Cedric Ceballos?
I think it's a great question, but I think it's a combination of both. Just being on the court all the time. But I think, the reason why, like I said, we had the college all-star camp. And I was, I led that camp in scoring. I won the dunk contest. I was on the all everything team, whatever you want to call it, the all tournament team of that thing. So I think people knew I could play, but could I play against the big dogs? And I think those 3 schools, if I would have went there, even though my statistics, and you see this in the draft all the time, their statistics might be a little bit lower, but they're doing it against Duke, and they're doing it against Indiana University and Syracuse, and they're playing against pro players every night. And I think that might have been the difference of me going, because I was predicted to be a lottery pick after that camp, but then I dropped all the way to the second to the last pick of the draft because we're not really sure. Is it a fluke? Is it not a fluke? And let's not take a chance on missing out on another player who's been playing against those big time schools. And we know that this kid is going to be there, late in the second round. And if he does what he's capable of doing, we'll be able to take care of him on his second contract and be able to steal him a little bit. And Phoenix, when they drafted me, that's what they were known for doing, stealing guys that they didn't really know. I mean, they had the big trade for Kevin Johnson. Obviously he was a high pick too when he went to Cleveland, but then Jeff Hornacek, your teammate, low second round. Dan Marley, it was a shocker, even though he was on the Olympic team that lost that year in '88. And just guys who, flew under the radar you wasn't too sure about. And they were putting Cotton Fitzsimmons, Westfall, and Jerry Colangelo were putting a team together where they can, monetize the spending and also be effective at their play.
Did you ever go back and ask, Cotton Fitzsimmons or Colangelo, like, hey, what did you guys see in me that made you guys want to take me, to figure out what that brain trust was that allowed them to put together, teams like that by getting those hidden gems?
Yeah. It was, like I said, first of all, Phoenix wasn't a huge market. It was a financial decision, obviously. They took chances before on big names and big programs like Armin Gilliam that didn't work out. What's the kid that was in Dean Garrett? He won a national championship at Indiana. Yeah. They went for the big names and the big schools, and guys got to Phoenix and just didn't pan out, to where they wanted to be. And a scout call, and he's not with us any longer, and neither is Armin Gilliam or Cotton Fitzsimmons. Rest in peace, all them. But Al Bianca was a scout for the Suns, and he was telling them that this kid can score. And at that time, they were making a transition from Cotton Fitzsimmons to Paul Westfall to be head coach. And Paul Westfall was a scorer. So for him to, it's like, okay, I need a guy like this. And at the time, Kenny Battle was on that team, Illinois. Ricky Blanton, LSU, was on that squad. They had another kid out of the D.C. area, Michael Morrison, who said he was better than Jordan. Eddie Johnson, the shooter, extraordinaire, played for Kansas City, then over to SAC, and then ended up in Houston. I think you guys knocked them out too to go to the finals. Those people were there. So if it didn't work out for me, no problem. My contract wasn't the biggest contract in the world. So it would just been a situation where, all right, we gave them a chance. It just didn't work out. But I came in so much in tremendous shape that you couldn't help but to keep me on their roster, because I did exactly what they wanted to do. I could run with KJ and Marley and Hornacek. I could finish at the rim. Tom Chambers was the big time free agent that they had just signed a year ago. With the biggest I think the first and the biggest free agent contract at the time. Did you play with Tom in Utah?
Yeah, I played with Tom.
Yeah. So I just fit their mode, and I say it all the time. If I had gone, because the draft is about, you got to take the best talent at the time. It doesn't matter what sometimes it doesn't really matter what your team is doing. I think if I'd have got drafted early and ended up in a Detroit where you have to grind and play defense and shoot the pull up mid-range jumper, I wouldn't have made the league, because defense wasn't my best forte, and I couldn't shoot the ball. Period. I averaged over 25 to 28 points in college, but that was just because I was a scorer, layups, mid-range, and jump hooks and stuff like that.
Okay, so you talked a little bit about how you were projected as a lottery pick and then didn't get drafted until, second to last pick in the draft. Walk me through that moment, once when the lottery passes, first round passes, you're still not drafted. What were some of the emotions that, you went through on that night?
Yeah, first the emotions kicked in the day before. I don't know if you remember late great Marty Blake. He was an NBA scout. Marty Blake gave me a call and said, "I don't think you should come to New York."
Really?
And I was like, "Whoa!" After 2 or 3 weeks before, he was like, he called me and said, "Hey, yeah, we got your spot, we got your ticket, come on in." But I don't know what happened.
Wow.
I don't know why I dropped. I don't know what was going on. He never explained that to me. He just said, "I don't think you should come to New York." I had, it was my first suit. I, bought me a suit, bought plane tickets for mom, my brother, and was ready to do, I had never been past Texas as far as going east. And so I was
Really?
ready to see New York City. So, so that was a disappointment, but, no sweat. So at the time I'm living in Houston training with BJ Johnson and Keem Olajuwon and all of them over at the Second Baptist Church. Because at the time, Lance Blank's father was my agent. And so I'm sitting in an apartment, watching the draft, and we talked to the Lakers. Lakers says, we doubt you'll be the last pick in the first round, but if you are, we definitely picking you. So I'm like, cool. Jerry West said it. Boom. So the lottery goes on. Obviously Derek Coleman, Gary Payton and I'm watching, Willie Glass and Willie Burton and all these other, Bo Kimball. I'm like, man, I torched these cats. What is going on? And okay, so I'm like, no problem. I still don't know the business of the NBA, but I'm like, okay, they fixed it right. The hometown kid is coming home to LA, so it's getting around to be the last pick. And the 28 first round, 28 pick, Los Angeles Lakers select Eldon Campbell, Clemson University, and I just bolted out. I just bolted. I left. I just left and went downstairs and cried like a little baby, man. I mean, I had mixed emotions because I grew up with Eldon. We good friends. I'm happy for him. He got to stay home, Morningside High School, right there in Inglewood. But at the same time, I'm not in the first round, so I'm crying. You know what I'm saying? So my brother came out and didn't really say nothing. He just kind of paced with me. But then my mom came downstairs, and was a gut check. Was like, look here, this is what you wanted. This is what you said you wanted to do. Let's get on in here, man up, dry your face, and let's see what the future holds for you. Whether you get drafted or not, we gonna roll the dice, and this is what we're gonna do. So, single parent mothers out there, I salute you for being everything. She pulled me in and made me man up. And at the time, I'm 2 years under where I'm supposed to be, so I'm only 18 and a half. I'm just a baby. 4 years of college, only 18 and a half. I'm still just a baby. And, you know, watching the second round and the other people getting picked, so I'm just, you know, kind of just out of it. And then it goes to commercial, and you know, it comes back from commercial. And then, you know, like I said, while we were away, Phoenix Suns selected Cedric Ceballos and just chopped my name all up. And then you know, I was like, oh, that's me. And then it had a little picture, and I'm like, okay, cool. Woo, woo, woo. And then my mom, you know, everybody in the room got excited. My agent called. Jerry Colangelo called. My mom was excited because, one, like I told you before, she's a Walter Davis fan. She was a Suns fan. I'd been to Phoenix before with the BCI tournament with the Watts Magicians, so I knew how hot it was out there. It's the only time in, you know, 120 degrees you playing basketball. I'm like, wow, I'm gonna look forward to that. But then you know, I'm like an hour away flight. I'm only a couple hours away drive from home, so I was like, perfect scenario. Everybody still gets to see me. I'm not too far away, so let's get to work. Right after the draft was over, you know, I called BJ up. We don't meet at the Hill, and I started training, and I started getting down. I came in such tremendous shape for summer league. We scorched through Utah summer league. I was the leading scorer. I was coming off the bench. We went undefeated. Then we went to the LA Summer League when the LA Summer League was real. I'm
Hot.
talking real.
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
I mean, Isaiah Thomas playing, James Worthy playing, Michael Cooper. I mean, Dominique Wilkins playing. I mean, like all-stars playing in the Summer League. Like,
Where were they playing it? Where were they playing it then?
At Loyola.
Okay, so yeah, I remember that Loyola.
I mean, getting it in, and
Yeah.
we went all the way to the championship. Didn't lose one game. I led that league in scoring. Didn't lose one game, and then we ended up losing to Fred Slaughter's team in the championship. And which is ironic because I ended up switching agents and going with Fred Slaughter, not because of that game, but just for other reasons. But and you know, they like, yeah, we definitely, and they started making moves. You know, they let Mike Morrison go, they let Greg Budge go, they started letting people go. Ricky Blanton, hey, y'all out of here. This kid right here is the business, and he's perfect. You know, perfect for our scenario. You know, they dubbed me the point-a-minute man at the time because if you gave me 6 minutes, I'm giving you 6 points. You know, if you gave me 20 minutes, I'm giving you 20 points. So it didn't really matter when Cotton put me in the game. He knew he was going to get instant offense. So, you know, it ended up, you know, like I said before, they started letting people go. Kenny Battle go. I started getting more, more opportunities. So it's just the persistence and the emotions of all of it, man, was just wild. But I didn't. You know, thank my mom. I love her to death. She gave me the confidence to get back in the room, get back in the war room and fight this thing out.
Hey, mamas are behind a lot of those going through adversity stories I know a lot of professional athletes, but, you know, around the world for sure. So credit to your mom for raising such a amazing young man. I want to go back to that 1993, 92, 93 season with the Suns where you led the NBA in field goal percentage. Now, I know we already talked about winning slam dunk competition is, you know, difficult. I mean, you're among one of the most elite fraternities in the world, but, you know, leading the NBA in the field goal percentage, you know, that's a battle the whole season long. And you gotta, you know, you can't let that get into your mind because you want to score, but still, you know, there's that whole, like, you know, there's some street cred with that. You know, you're number one at something. How difficult was that?
Well, first, it's an unbelievable achievement that is rarely done by a guy at my height. That belongs to the big fellas, the Shaqs. On our team, Mark West, guys who get maybe 3 or 4 shots a game, and they're usually dunks. You know, high percentage shots. So being a guy like myself, I didn't really notice it until Lionel Hollins and Paul Westphal pulled me aside and was like, "Hey, we're gonna try to get you this, you know, this crown." And I was like, "No big deal," you know. He's like, "No, it is a big deal. One, we've been working on your jump shot. I shot the 2-handed flip shot when I came in the league, man. That's why I've been shooting all my life. You know how you're a kid and you're not strong enough to get the ball up. I was a little skinny kid, so I was stuck to shooting the ball with 2 hands. So
really?
my shot was awful, you know, so to speak. You know, yeah, it was awful. So for me to win that, you know, just a testament to, you know, I spent the whole summer after my rookie year. I kind of just followed Jeff Hornacek around and he totally switched my shot. I had to and this was pure instructions for Cotton Fitzsimmons. If you shoot a jump shot, you coming out of the game. and that's because my jump shot was terrible, and everybody thought like if I shot a jump shot and the shot clock or the clock wasn't running out, he's like, I'm coming out the game. But when I got fouled and going to the free throw line, I was shooting in the high 50%. So they changed it where if you can see me now, I'm turning this way, and I had to shoot facing this way to shoot my free throws, because so I can get you can't shoot with two hands this way. If you turn your shoulders this way, you can only shoot with one hand. So I had to shoot my free throws that way, and I ended up being a high 90 free throw percentage shooter by the end of my career, which was great. But like I said, just me being a smaller guy, getting that high field goal percentage was just huge. Jeff, like I said, I followed Jeff around. I studied film on how he shoots. He's such an excellent. He's one of the best shooters I think this league has ever seen. Regardless of his game shots or trick shots, he's got a repertoire of unbelievable ability. And for a guy like that, he had just signed a huge contract. For a guy like that, just built a wonderful house for him and his family, and to allow me to just follow him around and go through his workouts and just be there. Sometimes I would be there and I wouldn't even be in my gear. I'll just be there watching, paying attention, and trying to, then I would go do my workouts and try to emulate what he was doing. But for him to do that, man, even to this day, every time I see him, I thank him for that and appreciate him for doing that.
One thing I'll say about Hornacek, we call him Horny, didn't want to get, people's mind elsewhere. Yeah. But if you watch him, I would tell people, like kids, do not watch him in pregame and in the warm-ups, because the shots that he throws up are like the BS, the hook shots, the horse shots, but he shoots that in the game. So he's not doing that to mess around. Like, he actually shoots those shots. And that's what's so amazing about him. And if you're like a new coach and you come watching him, you're thinking he's disrespecting you by just throwing up this craziness, like he's not paying attention. But yeah, you're right. He made the most amazing off balance. I mean, he practiced that, and that was part of his game. And I think part of that was because, he knew, look, he wasn't the most athletic, and he's running the gauntlet every night. He's guarding the Jordans. And, when we went to the finals that, 96, 97 season, he was basically on one leg, and he's defending Jordan, he's defending all of them. But yeah, you're right about his technique and his concentration and all the thing that goes with Jeff Hornacek. So that was a great mentor to have as far as, jump shots.
Yeah, he had two head coaching jobs, and I think he deserves another one. Real difficult going into a New York situation when he was coaching. I mean, but you have to take that job. You have to take a New York Knicks job if you have an opportunity to. And then coming back to Phoenix to coach, I don't think he got his fair shake or opportunity to really get his team and get their mentality on his page.
Now, how many All-Star teams were you selected to? One or two?
One. Yeah, just one. Yeah.
And the one that you were selected to, you were injured, so you didn't get to play. What are the emotions that are surrounding that? I mean, because that's the pinnacle of an NBA player. I mean, the NBA championship is one, yeah, but All-Star selection, I mean, that's it.
Yeah, it's a lot of emotions that run through my mind for that, and also a lot of controversy and stuff that goes to it as well. Okay, so I'm selected as an All-Star, and Dikembe Mutombo doesn't get selected, and he goes on his rant, has a press conference and everything. Oh, the NBA doesn't care about defense. They don't even care about offense. I'm leading the league in block shots. They don't put me in. This is ridiculous. Da 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 da. Blah 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 blah. Woo woo woo. We played Denver after that rant in Los Angeles. Dikembe Mutombo hurts me, and I don't get to play, and he gets the nod to go into the All-Star game.
Wow.
In Phoenix, I get the chance to go back to put it in Phoenix's face as an All-Star the year I got traded. And he hurts me 2 games. No, not even 2. Yeah, 2 games before we go play in the All-Star break. So it's like, what the, it was tough, man. It was tough, man. Trust me. It was so tough. I actually had a great. I got comeback player of the year that year, and that was my motivation, just to stick it to Mutombo, for hurting me. I had to sit out maybe 20 games, but I got the comeback player of the year that year, and because of just the motivation to come back and torch him. And best believe my numbers were bananas when every time we played against Mutombo. Trying to dunk on him, trying to do whatever it took, man, and telling him in his own language to shut that whole thing. It just, boy, a great guy. We good friends now. We spend a lot of time in basketball without borders over in Africa and everything. But he go, oh man, that was not me. I had nothing to do with it. Like, yeah, okay, all right, we get it.
I'm gonna give you props with your Magic impersonation, but your Mutombo has a lot of Stony Montana in it. You need more Cookie Monster, with your Mutombo.
Well, I'm not a great actor like you, Will, so it's kind of difficult for me.
Man, we can't ever get through one conversation without that. But anyway, I mean, I still have never seen you and Barry White in the same place, so I'm just gonna leave that. I'm gonna leave that right there. So you were on the Amazing Race with your guy Sean Marion. What was that like?
Yeah. It's great. I'm an Amazing Race fan. I watched all 29 episodes before. We were on the 30th. When they came to me, I thought it was a joke. I'm like, somebody playing a prank on me right now. And it's like, no, they want you to be in there. You want you to go out and find somebody to be a partner with. So the first person I called was Tisha Penichero, WNBA superstar, because we did a lot of work overseas, and she knows about 50 million languages. And I knew by being a fan that you had to speak different languages, and because it's all over the country. But she couldn't do it because she was, just starting her agency business. She's a, agent for players now. And so I went to my trainer. So I'm like, okay, everybody who wins, they have somebody big, they have somebody small, or they got two guys that are kind of medium, or two people or that are small, but never two big guys win. I've never seen that. So I tried to get my trainer to do it. He's a smaller guy, and we did all the applications and do it. But at the same time, they had contacted other players too as well to be involved in this, because this was a big 30th episode season, and they wanted celebrities to be on there. And Sean was looking for somebody too, and then they started matching things up. Both of us are small forwards. We both played for Phoenix. We both played for Dallas. We both played for Miami. We both were all-stars, and they kind of just matched us up in that sense. So they asked me, did I know Sean? I said, yeah, I know Sean. He's a great dude, and the same thing they did there. And they said, all right, cool. Let's put you two together. We made the phone call, and made it happen. Unbelievable when you're in the race, intense. It's fun. We being competitive. Our thing was, I'm afraid of heights, so anything that was in the air, Sean would do. And Sean has a wheezy stomach, so anything we had to eat, I would eat. If it was snakes, and we ended up eating cod oil and all kinds. Started eating crazy stuff, but I would do it. So that was it. Everything else, boom, we had it. So it was fun. Sean got sick at one point. So one of the legs I really had to do by myself, and then another point where I couldn't, get something going on a boat oar, and that, it was just we had so much fun. But I think when we got eliminated in San Jose, and that, just looking around that place is unbelievable. So me and Sean was like, hey, this is a nice place to get eliminated, man. Let's hang out here for a couple of days.
So what was in the backpack? I was reading something about you had a backpack that was, was ill-advised that you wore it during a part where you needed to kind of be fleet of foot.
Yeah, there was a challenge where we had to go find these gnomes, these little Travelocity gnomes.
Okay.
And we had to go through like this city. I forgot exactly where we were, what country we were in. But I was like, boom, parkour. I'm cool at parkour, but I got so excited about the parkour, I didn't take my backpack off, because it was one of those backpacks that strapped here strapped here. It kind of became part of your body. But I had
Yeah.
all my gear in there. I had my boots. I had my coat in case we went to a cold place. I had all my gear in there. So I just grabbed the clue. We decided it was going to be me. I took off and I just started, first part of it, I was cool. But then after a while, this was early in the morning. It was nice and cool. But then the weather changed. Like it got extremely hot. And I'm still looking for these gnomes. I'm trying to climb through these houses and over these buildings and jump here with this backpack. And wore me out. Wore me completely out. I'm telling you, at some point I wanted to just, but everybody else, at the time, left their backpack with their partner. It kind of did us in a little bit, but fortunately for us, it wasn't an elimination round.
So would you do a reality TV show again? And if so, what's one that you like that you would, look towards being a part of?
Oh yeah, definitely would do it again. That show, Big Brother, that's funny. Survivor. I would do Naked and Afraid. I watch Naked and Afraid all the time, man. I'd be laughing at people that just be crying and like, I can't make it, and they tapping out and stuff like that. That would be kind of cool. Just seeing if you could survive with nothing but a knife. And it is funny even watching Naked and Afraid, watching the things that the things that can help you out, the people that pick. Like one person picked some duct tape, and then the other will pick some a pan, like a pot. Like, are you kidding me? Like that's the least thing I'm worried about is some duct tape when I'm out there, and also a pot. I'm getting a knife,
Right.
I'm getting some water, something I can get some water in, or a tent, maybe a sleeping bag. I'm not getting no duct tape in a pot.
Right. So when you got traded back to Phoenix from the Lakers, did you miss out on a championship with that?
Oh, definitely. But yeah, definitely. But at the time, odd man out. Kobe was emerging. We got Shaq. Eddie Jones was emerging. And they just needed Derek Fisher was coming up on his own too as well. So it was an opportunity, to when they made the switch. When we first got Shaq, our first couple of games, I was the leading scorer of the team. So, like that's just like you going to Utah and you scoring more than Karl Malone. It's gonna be a problem.
Wait, you didn't watch?
Be a problem.
You didn't watch that season? That's the way it played out in Utah. What are you talking about? That was it.
It's gonna be a problem. So when I was scoring more than Shaquille, then it was like, okay, hold up. And then again, my game. I don't need a play. I didn't need no play. They weren't calling plays for me. I just was in great shape. I knew I had a nose for the basketball. So me, averaging more than Shaquille, and then I don't know if I was in his way. The Robert Horry trade came up. Guy who played with a great center in Hakeem Olajuwon, who knew how to spread the floor, could defend, great decision makers, and he could also make big shots, especially beyond the arc. It was a perfect scenario. Jerry West, the mastermind that he is, put that, the trade together. Like I said, and getting, a guy who needed the ball like Eddie and Nick Van Exel out of the way too as well. So Derek Fisher, could lead, with his aggressiveness, and Kobe can have the ball more, and it'd be the Shaq 1-2 combo. And I think anybody you kind of put with that group, they also had Rick Fox. Anybody you kind of put with that group and explain to him exactly what you need, I think you can win, especially with the way Shaq was playing at that time, the most dominant player in the game. And then Kobe was just hungry like a wolf, man. He was just bananas. So yeah, I missed out. I missed out on a couple of championships, not being able to shoot the long ball and defend.
Yeah, and you said it about Shaq, and I've said this all the time that might not have been the greatest player, but he's got to be in the top 3, top 4 of the most dominant players ever to play in the NBA, because regardless of whether or not he's hitting a shot or if he's in a good mood, bad mood, he's still 280 that can move like a gazelle. And when he gets the ball that low, I mean, he didn't have to do much to break the backboard. And you have to double team him whether or not he's on his best night or his worst night. And, that's what about Shaq, that regardless of, you love Jordan or whatever, like Shaq was dominating. I mean, they changed rules for him.
Yeah, even if he, was being nice that night, the double
Right.
team didn't even matter. It didn't matter for him if you double team him or not. I mean, his footwork, his feet work, as he would say, his feet work was just unbelievable.
His feet work.
And
Exactly.
and
What?
and one of the, and one of the all time greatest teammates too. People don't know that about Shaq. One of the all time greatest teammates. I don't think it's a lot of even Kobe. I mean, other than them not getting along with him wanting Kobe, with him wanting Shaq to work out all the time, he knows Shaquille O'Neal is one of the best teammates ever to come across this league.
Agreed. Yeah, he was a. I mean, the rides on the bus with him just cracking jokes and just capping on everybody, but it was always in good fun. You know, he always kept it light. So, what were the? You played with Kobe, obviously played against Jordan. What are the comparisons or the edges of greatness that you see between them and with LeBron in that conversation?
People ask me about that all the time, and I use analysis of a assassin.
Oh yeah.
I use that analysis of assassin, and Kobe Bryant is an assassin with a razor blade in his mouth and a cell phone in his hand, calling the police as he's taking the razor blade out and he's slitting your throat, saying, "Yeah, it was Kobe Bean Bryant who killed this person on March 30th, 2003, whatever. And you want to find me? You know who I am. Come find me."
Right.
LeBron James is a technician. He will have a high power rifle with an unbelievable scope, and he'll be 2 miles away, and you'll just drop, and you never know who killed you. But he'll get the job done, but you'll never know who killed you. And he'll use tech. He'll use his technical. He'll do everything. He'll coordinate it. When you come out the building, he'll have everything down. He doesn't watch film on you. He done did everything. Um, Michael Jordan will have a cigar in his hand, a cup of cognac, and be laughing at you while he's killing
Some
you at the
hand.
same time. And he'll talk trash and be killing you at the same time. There's a difference. But I think when it comes to being on the court, uh, I thought Michael was as much as everybody's saying about him. I thought he was nice to people on the court. I thought he gave people a break. By jab, 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 pull up, whop, instead of just going around dunking on everybody. Kobe didn't care about you or your mama. I mean, his nickname is Mamba, but he didn't care about your mama watching you in the stands. He wanted to just abuse you. And um, LeBron really just takes what the defense gives him. He doesn't really get mad. He doesn't. I don't think he has a bone in his body where he has envy or he's mad at somebody. He's I'm gonna take it out on them on the court. Like Jordan would use little things to fuel him or talk trash or get going. Or I remember back in '73 when you stepped on my toe. And now it's 2001, and I'm gonna make you pay for what you did in '73. Like, no, I don't think LeBron has that. But Jordan, I thought he took it lightly when he started the fade away and he started just the jab and the pull up and he added the three to his game. I thought he gave people a break from trying to guard him because he could easily go back to those Detroit days where he sliced, diced, dip, and dunk. The way he dismantled Boston his first couple years in the league and in that playoff series. I thought he could have done anything he wanted to do on the court. The way he handles the basketball, his hands being so big, the way he can maneuver at the rim. You think you got him at 12 o'clock, and then he switches it over to 2 o'clock and dunk on you. So I think that I always say that Michael was the greatest. But when LeBron came into the league, and then Kobe came on his own, I knew that both of them would pass him on the scoring list, and I thought LeBron would eventually pass Kareem because he will play longer, and he started averaging 24 real early. But then a kid named Kevin Durant comes along, which is Kareem Abdul-Jabbar with a crossover and a jump shot.
Yes.
Kareem is our all-time leading scorer with a unstoppable sky hook, and obviously other moves is too as well. But if you can imagine Kareem with a 3-point shot and a crossover. That's what we're looking at Kevin Durant. So eventually, Kevin's, he stays healthy. He's healthy right now. Talked to him the other day. And if this season comes back, he said he would not play. He thought that would be unfair because everybody else is, played the season out, and he just comes up because, obviously with Kevin and Kyrie healthy, they might go to the finals if this little shortened postseason can go, and that'd be kind of dangerous. But he said he wouldn't play. But if he stays healthy, he's going to elapse LeBron, and he's going to eventually elapse Kareem and everybody as far as scoring. Because when he came in with the Sonics, he was averaging 25, 26 a game, and and you got to think of the work Kobe put in, because his first 4 years he wasn't averaging over 20, and then boom, all of a sudden he just took off. But great players all around, but very, very dangerous, and I love watching them play.
I really think, and I agree with you on Durant. Like, to me, he's the most potent and perfect offensive weapon because he is unguardable. I mean, 7-footer shooting threes with fluidity and the ability to put it on the bounce and just score anywhere. I mean, the only person,
and he can guard too.
Yeah, the only person that can stop Durant is Westbrook when they're on the same team.
Shots fired.
No, I love Westbrook because to me he kind of has that same Jordan mentality where he takes every game like it's his last game. And I don't know how he does this, but he must have someone in his crew that tells him every game, like, hey, Cedric Ceballos said something about your mama. Jordan said something about your younger sister. And because he goes into a game with that ferociousness, just trying to take your heart and just that anger. And I've never seen anyone do that for 82 games and the playoffs. I mean, I don't know what kind of Gatorade they're slipping him, but dude does not play. I want to ask you about that 50-point game in Minnesota. Like, at what point did you feel like, man, tonight, could be something special? I'm going to put some buckets up. 50 points, that's a lot of buckets.
Well, like I said before, Jordan would remember something you did in '73 and then go, okay, I'm going to make you pay for it. Winston Garland was playing for the Minnesota Timberwolves.
Okay.
And I was a rookie in Phoenix, and he was playing with the Clippers. The Clippers were winning, and I told you before, Cotton would put me in the game when we needed offense. So he put me in the game. I get a breakaway dunk. I get a tip dunk and a layup. And so I'm like, okay, cool. Everybody at home in LA is watching me play. Whoop, whoop. I'm about to torch the Clippers, about to get this win, help get this win. I get fouled and an and one, and he comes up to me at the free throw line talking trash, and he spits in my face. And I'm making $125,000 at the time, so I know if I sock this little piece of crap, that's half of my paycheck. So I'm like, all right, I see you play for the Clippers, homie. I'm an LA kid. I'm gonna see you again. So he ended up getting out the league and going different places and overseas, and then he got back and he played for Minnesota. And that night, I saw him in the layup. I didn't know he played for Minnesota. I saw him in the layup line. I'm like, okay, a little give back. The first bucket I got, they switched and put him on me. And it's the quick turnaround on the baseline. It's on the right side. It's the quick turnaround on the baseline. I was trying to get an offensive foul. I was trying to turn and take his whole head out with my elbow. Didn't happen. I laid it up, and I said, you know what? That was a long time ago. Let it go. Let's go on and get it in. So I just kept playing. I had in my mind this aggressive mentality. But after I didn't hit him in the head. I said, okay, just play your game. And like, again, I didn't have no plays, so it's not like they were calling my number. I just was letting the game flow. My big brother, Sean Wilkes, played. Rest in peace, Sean. He played for Minnesota, so we started goofing around. We grew up together in Cali. We Cali kids, so we started goofing around too. I was Brian Davis introduced me to Christian Laettner when we drafted him in Phoenix. And so Christian was playing for Minnesota. We had spent some time together. So, it was just a comfortable feel. So, after the first half, I really wasn't I think I had like 25, 30. I'm not really sure what I had at half, but I wasn't trying to get it until like 7 or 8 minutes into the fourth quarter. The crowd started, trying to egg me on because I had like 42 with 7 or 8 to go, and then Del Harris made the mistake of start calling plays for me, which don't call no play, just let it happen. And then now Minnesota is, Sean Works is like, don't let him get it, double, triple team. I mean, they had everybody on me. So anytime anybody else shot the ball, the crowd, this is our home crowd, they would boo. Pig Miller shoot the ball, they boo. Antonio Harvey shoot the ball, they boo. Vladdy was trying to get it to me. Eldon, Nick, everybody was trying to get it to me. But the guys who didn't play as much, it was like, man, I don't get to play that much. I'm trying to go for mine too. So it was just one stretch I was just exhausted. I mean, just tired. I was like, man, I am exhausted. They triple teaming me. I'm not going to be able to make this happen. I ended up getting a free throw, and which made me have 47. And then for some odd reason, the knucklehead that I wanted to tear his head off at the end of the game, he didn't have to shoot the ball. All he had to do was hold the ball. He goes and shoots the ball. Okay? He shoots the ball to get another bucket. We have like 9 seconds to go. Pig Miller took it out and gave it to Sedell 3. Sedell 3 baseball passed it to me almost half length of the court. I caught it and Hail Mary, let it fly, and it went straight through for a 3-pointer for the 50. And it was like, oh my God. So, again, that night would never have happened if I would have been an asshole and, retaliated against Winston Garland. But it was great that it did, and I kept my cool.
Hey, that good karma, came around and got you at the end of the game. How many threes did you make in your career?
Not really a lot. I wasn't a big 3-point shooter. I only took them like, I didn't use it as a tool or a weapon. Only when shot clocks were running out. I still kept the same mentality of Cotton Fitzsimmons in my head. Like, you shoot a 3 more, you're coming out the game. It was a little. So I just only time I shot them when we really needed it or the shot clock was running out. I mean, I had a couple of big ones. I beat Jordan and the Bulls, and when they had that classic 72 win season in Dallas. Send that game into overtime with a 3-pointer, but like I said, we needed a 3, and it was last second shot, stuff like that.
So I want to switch away from basketball a little bit. You're an accomplished DJ, really, and you've been entertaining, the likes of Instagram fandom. When did you get into music? When did you start becoming a DJ? And what's the coolest place that you've ever DJed?
I started when I was a kid. I've been a fan of the radio for years. I mean, that's when radio was just everything. We had so many radio stations in Los Angeles, just listening to the radio. And then they started mixing on the radio on Fridays and Saturday nights. And then they started mixing on lunchtime and, all kinds of stuff. So I just was a fan of being a DJ, but I just didn't know how. I mean, my mom had a stereo. My brother got a stereo for Christmas. So I would fuse the 2 speakers together and, you tone one down and turn one up, and I didn't have a mixer. And I would do, in my apartment building when adults had parties, I was the local DJ. But it wasn't until 1994 where I was a ball kid for the Olympics, and got to meet Jordan. They don't remember me. The only person that remember me is Wayman Tisdale, rest in peace, and Bobby Knight when he was coaching. Leon Wood said he kind of remembers me, but Joe Klein was on that team too as well. Mullen, all kind of players. But I got enough money saved up for that, and I bought my turntables and my mixer. And if I wasn't at school, if I wasn't playing ball, I was DJing in my room. And again, shouts out to my mom for allowing me to bang those speakers all the time, all hours of the night, and not coming in and say turn that down or put that away, or and I don't know if she thought that was a dream of mine or that would humble me, but we lived in a very dangerous neighborhood, so she figured if he's in his room and I hear that music coming out that room, I know he's not in the streets getting into something he's not supposed to be into. So that was just the development. And then as a college student, NCAA starves us. So being a starving student, I started mixing tapes and doing parties and DJing in clubs and the local, the college on-campus pub I went in there and was like, hey, let me DJ on certain nights. And they're like, yeah, come on in. This is perfect. You know, scenario. I never drank. So, you know, I wasn't a normal college kid who was getting drunk all the time and, you know, partying. I was the guy providing the music and the soundtrack for their college life. So, you know, it was real easy for me to do that too as well. And it just kept going. I think the biggest stage I've been on, I mean, I've DJed at concerts with 50, 60,000 people at, you know, I've been in the hottest nightclubs in Vegas as the headliner. I've opened up for, you know, Kid Capri. I've opened up for DJ Jazzy Jeff. And most importantly, and DJs out there know, not only did I open up for them, but I've also closed for headline DJs like that. Closed for Jam Master Jay, rest in peace. Closing is the harder job to do than opening. Opening, they don't really care because they're just waiting for Jazzy or Jam Master Jay to come on or Kid Capri to come on. But closing, after they tear the place down and you come and close and keep them engaged and keep them partying and keep them drinking, and you know, that's the hardest thing to do. And so after it was a Super Bowl party, that was my greatest accomplishment, is closing for DJ Jazzy Jeff at a Super Bowl party when the Super Bowl was in Arizona, and still, you know, keeping the party going and keeping everybody's attention, and then they're oohing and ahhing. So.
Okay, a couple rapid fire questions for you. This is your DJ knowledge. Greatest rapper of all time?
Tupac Shakur.
Okay. Greatest entertainer of all time?
Do I get to explain why that?
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
You know, because everybody like, are you kidding me? Biggie, Jay-Z, Nas, and Rakim, and all this. And the reason I say, you know, the comparisons of Biggie and Tupac is because if you want to go R&B, Biggie is our Rick James. You know, Rick James sung about women and partying, and that's what Biggie rapped about. And obviously, he didn't get a chance to go deeper because of his tragedy. But Tupac was our Marvin Gaye. I mean, Tupac, he made you militant. He made you love. He made you respect women. He made you disrespect women. He made you want to be a gangster, a killer, a murderer. He made you want to be achievement, take care of your kids. He just like Marvin Gaye. He was controversial, but he was also caring. I mean, he just gave you so many parts. There's Tupac and Marvin Gaye songs that I want to go conquer the world and be, you know, pump my fist and get going. And then there's songs that Marvin Gaye and Tupac have that make me shed a tear. So I just think that, you know, world round, the whole genre of rap and music, I think Tupac really took advantage of it fully.
Greatest entertainer of all time?
The King, Michael Jackson.
Okay.
Obviously, I don't even have to explain that.
No. No, you do not. What's a song in your playlist that most people would be surprised that is there?
Mountain Music. It's a country song. Play me some mountain. I love that song for some reason. I don't know why. That one and Stuck on You by Lionel Richie.
Okay. Yeah. That's kind of like one of them, you know, when you're feeling sad, you kind of, you know, could go to that.
Yeah, no, Mountain Music is not really a sad song.
No, the Stuck on You. The Stuck on You one, that's what I'm talking about.
Makes you think. Stuck on You makes you think, yeah.
So what was on your, you know, your go-to on your playlist when you were playing that would just get you ready to go out and do battle?
You know, I played in the 90s, so it varied. You know, depending on how big of a game it was. You know, obviously you got all the jock jams. If y'all remember the jock jams.
Oh my God! No, you did not say jock jams.
Yeah, because that's all they play in the arena is the jock jams. Everybody get up! It's time to jam. You know, they played all that stuff. So, but you know, it just depends on what it was and what kind of mood and where we were. You know, we in New York City, so I'm, you know, definitely playing Rakim and Biggie and Jay-Z and all that stuff. And, you know, if we were in Hollywood, I'm getting Michael Jackson's got me going. It just depends on where we were.
So, you know, Tekashi 6ix9ine's out. You know, do you bump his music at all?
Not at all. No, I have not heard one song by him. I have some songs in my repertoire that are his, but I don't think I've ever played them or ever listened to them.
I mean, one time I just wanted to see what the hype, like why everybody was always talking about it. And I saw it and I literally, I thought it was a joke. So I didn't understand it at all. But, yeah, it
My
is
kids,
what
my
it is.
kids play them. My kids play them, but I had never heard them.
Okay. So tell everybody what you're doing now. You got a leadership role with the Dallas Mavericks that, I mean, you look at your career, a guy that was getting 4 minutes, you know, as a senior in high school, begrudgingly, at times, and then you go on, last, and you do your thing, you get your opportunity. I think that's probably signifies or really epitomizes your career is you get your opportunity and you're always ready for it. And one thing I took from, when you went to camp, you were always in the best shape, and that's what I had to do because I had to earn a roster spot. And one thing you don't want anyone to say is that you're not in shape, because that kind of fatigue makes cowards of us all. And so now, most people, you get done playing and now you're in a leadership position with the Mavs. I mean, that kind of says a lot about you, your character, and who you are as a person. What is it that you're doing now with the Mavs?
Well, first, before we get into that, my whole life has been off of my motto is persistence and patience. And then you just crack the door and let God in and see what happens. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's always been me. That guy getting 4 minutes, sitting on the bench. I didn't sit at the end of the bench. I sat next to the coach. So I watched him chew out the best players on the team. And I also watched him, pat the best players on the team on the back, what they did good. So I knew exactly what I needed to do while I was in there. I just needed an opportunity to do it and get in there. So, and this is my 30th, and like you said, this is my 30th year in the NBA. Like
Wow.
who'd have thunk 30 years, that NBA it's just a true blessing, man. And I hope it continues. I'm now also, still doing my analyst work for Fox Sports Southwest, but vice president of corporate and community relations. And I kind of just, when the corporate sponsors come through in the sales, make sure they need and they need or not want anything. Make sure the community is always embracing the Dallas Mavericks and how can we help the community different ways to shine. I think right now, as I step aside a little bit, with this pandemic that's going on, and salute Mr. Cuban. Mark has just done unremarkable things, and he listens to us and takes heed, and not only does take heed, but he doesn't mind. He's a real billionaire. Put that in the situation. He doesn't mind giving back when it comes to opening up the checkbook, because not only a lot of people are affected, but he doesn't own American Airlines Center, but he took care of all the workers that not only worked the Maverick games, the Stars games, the concerts, the bars and the restaurants surrounding the arena. He's taking care of them. And that, like I said, he doesn't own that building. He pays rent there. And the fact that, for him to step up like that because of, the staff that he put together saying, hey, how can we make this better? He asks us a question and, we give our honest answer, and he comes back like, boom, okay, this is what we're going to do. And not only with the surrounding restaurants and bars writing them checks, but he also, if anybody patronizes those places while this pandemic is going on, he says, save the receipt, give it to him, and he'll pay you back. I mean, just really stepping up. It really shows, the character of this individual. It's just this pandemic, who knows how long it's going to go on, but it's more important that he, is doing what he's doing to try to help people out. And, so those things like that. And so many high school seniors, so many college seniors. I have a college senior and also have a middle school senior. No graduations for him. He's trying to put things together, to give them some sort of graduations while this craziness is going on. And so, hopefully we'll get back to the norm. But until then, Cuban has definitely stepped up to the plate. And you being a former player and also a broadcaster, when you come across him, you feel the energy, you feel the love, and you feel the personality of this gentleman and exactly what he does.
Absolutely. Yeah, I agree. One of the standouts as far as owners, and I love when he, uses his platform for others and, to speak up in situations where most people, don't have the opportunity, but not only that, but the expertise. I think now is the time when, we talk about leadership that, we need our true leaders to speak up. And yeah, I didn't forget about your analyst role with Fox Sports Southwest, because you've been giving us a taste of that all night long with your, takes on, Jordan, Kobe and whatnot. But yeah, how long have you been doing that? I mean, you've been doing that for a minute, because you started out doing some stuff in Phoenix.
Yeah, Phoenix, it is again, the cliche from Drake started from the bottom. Now I'm here. I was the MC. I was I think you were still playing in the league when I was still MCing the arena, just making people get up out their seats and cheer, and then playing games and the Papa Shot games and stuff like that, working in the community. And the biggest thing about that, not only the great Jerry Colangelo, who's spearheaded that with me, but he allowed me to be in the office and listen and pay attention, and just, same thing scenario when I was trying to work on my shot with Jeff Hornacek. He just allowed me to shadow you. The internship is so important, young people, even old people. It doesn't matter what age you are. The internship, just to be able to follow and see and get that experience is just great. And it has led me to the position that I've gotten now. But I think it was 2010. I think it was 2009 or 2010. I kept getting offers from ESPN and Fox to come in, and CBS to come in, but the Suns would not let me go. They would not let me miss games. They would not let me miss stuff for that. And I'm like, wow, I'm missing out on so much. But then when I got a call from NBA TV and TNT, and I couldn't go, I said I had to leave because I'm missing out on the world market. And then, it is an opportunity for me to have a long career with the Suns, but sometimes you try to strive and you jump out on a limb, and you just, so I ended up quitting. But then when I went out and branched out myself, that's when CBS picked me up, Fox Sports Radio. I got my own show there. While I was with Phoenix, I was doing music radio too, on an old school station in Phoenix. Old school R&B station. So I did that for 7 years, and I grinded that because I was doing the morning show and I was doing the Quiet Storm. So I would be there at 4:30, 5 o'clock, starting the show, get off at 10, 11, get home, get some rest, goof around with the fam, and then hurry up and get back to the station to start my Quiet Storm by 7, 8 p.m. and be there until 1, and then get home and then lay my head down for a couple of hours and jump back up and go do it again. So I put in my work. Where I'm at now is not because of just that name or the guy who was blindfolded with 50 points. I put that work in and studied my craft, shadowed guys. I'm still trying to shadow guys. I'm the great Joe Buck, man, him and Troy Aikman. I'm trying to get in that booth just to see how because they're so great at what they do, and Jeff Gray and Mark Jackson and Van Gundy. Just to sit there and watch and pay attention. Like even now, I got a great job and great opportunity, great career, but you always got to sharpen that. You got to still sharpen steel. You want to get better. So I'm trying to creep in their booth just to, see how they're directing and the way they command, because, when Ray Allen hit that shot against San Antonio after Chris Bosh got the ball, I mean, his voice, Jeff Gray's voice, just gives you goosebumps. And then Joe Buck in the World Series, and when he broadcasts football games, and that's what I want to do. I want to get to that point where I'm there. And every now and then I get on the broadcast with Mark Followell and Derek Harper and put a little, like you said, that Barry White on there and see if I can get that. And what I'm gonna start doing next year, I plan to start doing before they started. I'm gonna start going to high school games and just doing them myself and recording myself doing a high school game, and just so I can get that infliction. So if I do get an opportunity or get a call, I can go ahead and step right into that role.
Well, well. I mean, before you said all that, I this whole time I thought you were overnight sensation. So I'm glad you let everybody know the work that you put in, and actually Tom Joyner and Ryan Seacrest just sent a message. You made them tired with all the stuff that you've been doing. So, man, we all know Tom Joyner was the hardest working DJ. You doing the night shift and the morning shift.
Yeah.
One more question before I let you go. who's on your Mount Rushmore of NBA GOATs, NBA greats?
Obviously, Michael Jordan.
Yeah.
Just unbelievable. Great dude, too, as well. Magic Johnson. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, not only because of the points, but, you talk about, they changed the rules. You could not dunk the basketball because of Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. I mean, come on now. Unstoppable, not only unstoppable shot, but just, longevity of what he did, winning on every level, high school, college, pros, just very dominant. Then I got 2 slots left. I'm not too sure about the other 2 slots yet, but I definitely want to put Bill Russell in that category.
Yeah.
And that other slot is open for Kobe, Shaquille, LeBron, and I think that's about it. That other slot is really open, and because LeBron hasn't finished his legacy yet, and Shaquille O'Neal, like I said, where would he be? With all the talented footwork and all the stuff that he's done, it's just real tough to put 5 on there with all these great ones. And I'm leaving off Larry Bird, and I'm leaving off Oscar Robinson, and I'm leaving off all these great players. Steph Curry and
Dream,
Kevin Durant, Dream, Karl Malone. I'm leaving off so many great ones, man. Wilt Chamberlain. Ugh. I can just go on. Dr. J. I mean, Charles Barkley. I mean, I can go on and on. Man, just great ones. Patrick Ewing that just come through this league. But Elgin Baylor, Jerry West. I mean, it's so hard, man. Like Jordan said it best. You can't really compare you can't really say who's the greatest because of the eras that they've been in. You can only try to dominate the era that you are in.
Yeah.
And then hopefully, people recognize you've done good work.
Yeah. Well, let everybody know where they can find you on social media and when you're doing your DJing, because, we all need something to uplift us, during this time. And you do a great job of it, on the 1s and 2s, keeping it lively.
Yeah, at Cedric Ceballos, all my social media is at Cedric Ceballos. And on Wednesday nights is when I do my way back Wednesdays. I play just about everything, country, rock, R&B, hip hop, soul, everything. I just kind of throw it all in there, just depending on what type of mood I'm in. And like I said, I've only started doing that live because we went through the pandemic, and just a little relief and some fun, not only for people who are listening and watching, but for myself. Give me a little bit of a stagnant. I'm an avid roller skater, so no skating rings for me for a long time, and it's been real difficult. But so. I try to do as much as I can and try to help myself mentally, because you got to take care of the mind as well as the body, and as I want to try to help other people.
Well, I want to thank you for your time. You've always been a great big brother to me, and you've always looked out for me, so I appreciate that. So we got Cedric Ceballos, 10-year NBA vet, 30 years in the association. Got to tip your hat to that. 1992 slam dunk champ, led the league in field goal percentage. All around great guy. So, hey, man, thank you. You take care. Stay safe. Appreciate your time. Love you, man. I'll holler at you a little bit later. But yeah, man, thank you, Cedric Ceballos, and thank you everybody for, tuning in and checking out this most recent version of Elite and Exceptional. And you can see why Cedric Ceballos is both elite and exceptional. But yeah, tune in. And I'll let you know who's going to be on next. But yeah, thank you guys for joining me. You guys were great.